Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay. So, yeah, and we can go wherever you'd like today, but I am curious if you had any follow-up with the part that we worked with last time.
Oh, was that the not good enough?
Yeah, feeling left out.
I get so confused sometimes. The weird thing seems to be that my daughter has been including me a little more in things. And if she doesn't, it's okay. Which is, I don't know if it's, that when I finally, looked at it, and it just seems like I've been invited more places. And sometimes I don't want to say no because I don't want her to stop asking me, but yet I've had to say no, if I just didn't feel like going or even going next door. So it's a little strange.
Yeah.
If I'm backing off, and it seems like it's happening a little more.
It seems like what is happening more?
Being included more, which is weird.
By other people?
Well, my daughter more, and not necessarily other people. I think more with her. And there is a relative on her. Oh, she got engaged. I don't know if I told you. Oh, yes, I did.
You mentioned it. Mm-hmm.
An aunt on the other side. Sometimes I feel like that happens with her. She doesn't like me for some reason. And, I have talked to my daughter about it, and she said it's not, that's just who she is. She's her ways and the way she does stuff.
Yeah.
And
so I was asking about your relationship with the part, and what I hear you saying is that, there was this part that's feels hurt or sad when it's not included. And what I hear you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you've been included more and more just with things since then, and so it just hasn't come up?
Yeah, the part is okay either way, it seems like.
Yeah, well,
If
that's what I'm curious about, is if it is okay, um, what that's like. But if you've been invited to all these things, then maybe I don't know if what your experience has been like. Um,
Well, it's
or
kind of
if,
like when I back off on it,
mhm.
things happen. But either way, I'm I'm still okay. I've been okay, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's a few things, that they did, and it's like it's okay because that, to me, that part knows that it's had that time with them. I guess that it has been included. So
Uh-huh.
knowing that, I think I had shared that before in one of our sessions. When the part knows that it was included and that it's cared about, it doesn't seem to act up or feel left out
Yeah.
when I'm not included. Just, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Let me see if I let me see. So when that part feels included and when it feels cared about, then it doesn't. Then it's not triggered. It's not upset.
Yeah, if
And my question is all of that inclusiveness and caring about coming from external sources, or has there been any shift in your relationship with that part in the way that you care about it?
at first when you said that, I was going to say external, but then it has to be, I would think, internal too, because of the way that I feel about that part now. So it's not affecting, the way I treat that part and talk to that part. It's different. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like I'm not, see, I want to answer you perfectly, but
Hmm.
I don't know. It is external and internal.
Yeah.
Again, just feeling okay and knowing I'm okay
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah.
I can comfort that part and, find other things to do or just be with me and, do things that I want to do. I don't know
Right.
if I'm answering your question,
I
but I
think you
get where
are.
you're
And
asking me because it's
yeah.
both.
Yeah, well that's ideal, I would say. And I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. It's just in the mission of coming to know your parts and coming to care for them. um, I think the idea is that if these parts have you to care for them, then because that's what they all want care, they all want connection. And when you're providing that, then I don't know, ideally then they aren't as needing or seeking that externally. And so again, what your experience has been, there's no right or wrong, and I'm happy to work with whatever comes up. But I was just curious if, yeah, if that's been part of the process for you, is that part feeling more cared for by you?
I'd like to think it is. I mean, I'm thinking it is. It just seems like the more we work on the different parts, they're not coming out as much.
Yeah.
They're there, but not so big that they get so blended, I guess. It's
Yeah.
so I don't know. That's what's coming to my, to my mind.
Okay.
So whatever, I mean, it's work. It's whatever we're doing, I really see a change. So that's a good thing, I think,
Sounds like it.
from where, from where I was.
Yeah. Okay.
So
have you have you done like checking in? Have you been, taking that time to be like, I'm going to check in with this part, even if it's not upset? There's not a right or wrong answer.
no, I haven't been doing that as much. In the mornings, I was putting my hand, on the spot. And when I would feel that anxious part coming out in the morning, so like when you say checking in, just like, again, put your hand where, on the spot, whatever I choose, and just like be still and, see if those parts come up. Basically, that's what you mean by checking in, right? Or
I would say it's more than that. I would say that the parts are real. They are individuals with whole personalities inside of you. And so checking in is, so like if you've met one of these parts, let's say, and you've met, let's say, a 5-year-old, and you've learned about her, it's like she's going to be in you forever. And so checking in is more than just, am I feeling anxious right now? Let me do this grounding process that calms me down. It's knocking on that door of that 5-year-old and saying, how you doing today?
yeah, I guess I really haven't done it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's, again, there's no right or wrong. There's no, but I know from the beginning I've had more trouble like checking in with them than when we're, doing the session. Unless one of those parts shows up.
Shows up, yeah.
Yeah, that's when I
Right. I guess that's what I was kind of getting at before the meditation when I was talking about problem solving, and just kind of how I see this model as not, I'm feeling anxious, let me solve that problem, but I am multiple. I have an internal family. Let me meet these people and get to know them. And again, I'm not saying that like I'm not casting any judgment on you or how you're doing it. I'm just trying to kind of sell the idea of how I understand it, at least, which is getting to know each of those parts. They have a name, they have a face, they have a again, like a personality, and yeah, just kind of knowing their numbers and knowing where to find them in you and maintaining that connection.
Yeah, so I would say no, not as much as I may need to.
Yeah, I would follow their what they want. So anytime we meet a part that says, I want more connection, I want to be listened to, whatever they're saying, and I don't recall, then that's what I would say, like, is probably the prescription, is just to follow what, negotiating with them and understanding with them, like, what do they need from you? Because, the thing is with exiles, especially with these very young parts, they feel so distant from us because we have not connected with them in however many decades usually. And, when we change that, when we open that door, and now they feel better, well, what happens next? Do we just close the door back because they feel better? Then I would assume that's just that they're just going to be back. They're just going to be back with their same complaints of not feeling connected someday. I mean, that's the concern.
So I guess I'm not really connecting in between then, like I had thought I was.
Okay, well, I'm just putting it out there, and we can, when it comes up again, when parts come up, and we can just kind of take note of what they are asking for, and making sure to just, kind of be proactive, or be, it's just a proactive check-in. And it's not like, again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not saying this is how it has to be done, or anything. That's been my experience. It's been of what's been most useful. It's been my experience of what parts usually are asking for. And, I just want to put that idea out there, kind of plant that seed of what the ongoing work might look like.
Now I feel a little more confused, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know if it's more confused or overwhelmed, thinking, that perfectionist part coming in, that I'm not doing it right. And if I'm not connecting in between, then I'm not doing it right, even though I've been feeling better. So it confuses me a little.
Yeah. Again, the what's right is negotiated between you and your parts. So I don't have any place to tell you what's right around your connection with parts. And that's not what I'm trying to do.
Oh, no, I know. I'm there's that part, like it's overwhelming, so it wants to kind of just not think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's come up before.
Yeah.
If it get overwhelming, it's like, it's more work, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That.
It could be more work. I think ideally it saves work, in the big picture, by having that kind of, that communicating family inside of you, or the one that is connected, feels connected, and feels like has that just fluidity and safety and trust. So that takes work to build that, for sure.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess I'll need to, ask my parts too, what they need. And sometimes, like, a lot of times, I know I've shared this before, it's just reaffirming them and letting them know they're safe, and understanding and where they're coming from, and that it's okay.
Yeah.
And I guess I mean, I feel like I'm doing that stuff. Again, being in
Mhm.
the 12-step programs too, the adult child one does go, you know, to the inner child and looks at, the inner child and, stuff when you were little and why the patterns. So I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know. But that's what I do try to do. So
Great. We'll, as parts keep coming up, like again, we can just keep listening out for what they're asking for.
and I will do my best, and that perfectionist part sometimes needs to step aside too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wanting, things, thinking I have to do it perfectly, that I'm not doing it the way that, that it should be done, I guess. But otherwise, I have felt, a lot better. So
Okay. How are you feeling now?
a little thinking that I did something wrong,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
even though yeah, I guess thinking I did something wrong.
Okay. I don't think you did anything wrong, but I hear that you're feeling that way. I just want to let you know I don't think that, and I'm sorry if what I said, sounded like that.
No, I mean, I'm trusting too what you're saying, because you've been doing this for a while and I need to hear things too. Um, but again, I felt that I was doing what needed to be done because I have felt better since I've started,
Hmm.
just knowing the different ways my parts can be. And, so I kind of hold on to that. So that
Yeah,
just showed, I don't know, for me, anyways, that just, feels like I am doing something right
I think so.
because I do feel better.
Hmm.
So I guess, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I had that little bit of thinking I did something not right. So you know, I'm messing it up because I'm not doing it right.
No, I want to, I want to, I want to see you happy and see your parts happy. And, um, I'm just, again, kind of trying to paint the picture of what I see, how I see this model working best.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know
it's
you
a
are.
process. Hmm.
And I, do show up every
Yeah.
week. And
Yeah. I guess there's, you know, it's hard for me to put to word. So it's like what you just said about like, well, I show up every week, and the work, all the healing is between you and your parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can show up with me, and I can say, and I love doing this. So like, I'm not complaining, as anyone who calls me and I say, glad you showed up. Let's talk to parts. And I assume that the work sticks when someone keeps talking to their parts. And like, that's what I help. That's how I help people, is helping them build that relationship. And so, yeah, that kind of that idea of like, well, I'm showing up to this thing, I'm doing this thing, with James, or with anybody. Yeah, that's kind of just a a way to learn to connect with your parts.
And I feel like I must be connecting to them in between.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I was just curious about the details of
Yeah.
it.
I guess they'll let me know, won't they? As they have shown me. When
Yeah,
I think another thing and they come out and say something else.
right. Anyway, thanks for letting me blab about that.
No, that's fine. I mean, if we don't have that open relationship, the communication, it's,
Hmm.
if I feel there's not that trust too, I won't open up as much either.
Yeah.
So that's good.
You're talking about the trust between you and I?
Yeah, for my, to open up with my parts. And so I'm glad that we can talk about things
Okay.
that need to be talked about.
Yeah. Okay. Any other concerns or any other parts up about any of that?
Um, no, just that one that wants to, kind of maybe shove it under the rug too.
Hmm.
Because I can tend to, like I said again, if it gets overwhelming, well then I'll just, close close off, and that part, I guess I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, a part that helps you distance from feelings of overwhelm.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's a protector. Important one. So, do you have any parts you'd like to work with today? Change your relationship with? Or get to know better?
um I don't know what part these would even be. um Sometimes at work I have this frustrated part. It just, if things just aren't going, not necessarily my way, but just frustrated when you're supposed to do stuff and it's like there's more work to it, and the things you need aren't right there. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You're supposed to do stuff at work?
Yeah, just the frustrated part, like I don't know, maybe there's a part that thinks, everything's going to go so smoothly, and the part that doesn't like waves in the day sometimes, and another part that has to go talk about it, to people. I don't know what something just came to me about the spoiled bratty child that I used to call myself.
Uh-huh.
That just came to my mind as I was, I don't know, I didn't think of it like that before, but that came to my mind as I was just talking about that. And sometimes there's a part that thinks everybody's so stupid.
Yeah.
If everyone just did their part, things would go better at work.
So does that feel like it comes from that bratty child part? Like that kind of
I didn't,
other people are.
yeah, I didn't think so, but that just came into my, like maybe that part wanted me to know that, or, I try to trust the things that come into my mind when I'm not even, thinking about that, or I wasn't going there. I didn't think it had anything to do with that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Things aren't going, and I'm not the boss there. I'm not in control there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just stuff sometimes at work. It's just frustrating. Like it makes more work to have to do than needs to be done.
Yeah.
And something lazy part, like that lazy part that doesn't want to have to do more.
Yeah. So frustration around there's more to do, feeling of a part that's just doesn't want to do more, might feel lazy, and then maybe this what we're calling bratty child part, which has this kind of judgment of others or just sees them as they're being stupid, they're getting in the way or causing more work.
Yeah, it's like they just, I don't know, use their brains or something. I think, just use your brains. Can't be that stupid. It's the part that wants people to be perfect. I don't I don't know if I've dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've dealt with that part. Have I like that? I don't remember
I don't
talking about
remember it.
something at work.
No, I don't remember that coming up, wanting people to be perfect.
You're like, so it's like people just don't follow the rules or follow. And something just came to my mind with, that younger self telling the truth all the time and doing things like we were told to do them. Not that I was a perfect child, but Yeah, it's like sometimes just thinking people are just stupid and don't listen.
Yeah.
And then the part gets very frustrated, and then the complaining part's going to come out, and I guess instead of understanding where that's coming from, and it seems like it would save a lot of time not going around and complaining, because it doesn't always make me feel good.
Oh yeah. Okay. So then you're saying that like you go around and complain, or you when you were talking about like talking to other people.
Yeah, just complaining about different things.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And some days I think, well, I'm not going to say anything about it. If I let it be or let it go, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. So of all those different parts, feelings that feel like they come up around this, does one of them feel like it needs your attention the most?
Hmm. Can judging be a part that judges people? Because
Sure.
that kind of came up. I feel like I have a part of me that judges a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
complaining is kind of the judging part,
Mm-hmm.
saying what they think people need to do or don't do. And
Yeah. All right. And how do you feel towards the judging part?
I don't always like it. The more
Yeah.
I see it and become more aware of it,
Yeah.
because it doesn't make me feel good.
Right.
Who is that part, or who, to judge others and kind of,
Yeah.
well, put people down, but just to judge. And I kind of feel bad for having that part too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So maybe like some shame or guilt feeling around having that part, and then it sounds like there's almost like a judging of the judger, like who are you to judge, right? So you have that part kind of pointing the finger at this part.
Yeah, instead of,
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
see if you can ask those parts that don't like it, that don't want it around, if they'll step back and give you space so that you can get to know the part that does that judging of others.
seems like I'm having a little hard time connecting or hearing when I ask if those parts will step aside.
Mm-hmm. They're not responding.
Not like my parts have before.
Yeah.
Usually I'm kind of ready to kick him through the door.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should hear from one of them.
One of the parts that judges in that part. Is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
yeah. Like, yeah, if there's a so if there's a judge of the judge, the part that is judging it, maybe we could hear what it has to say. The part that doesn't want it around.
My mom's voice came into my mind.
Uh-huh.
Just came into my, again, I guess it's not doing anything right. Feeling like things had to be perfect. That just,
So they're
and I
not.
felt a little sad. And it's like
Yeah.
the part is doing it to others.
So when you heard your mom's voice in your head, it made it it brought back that feeling that you weren't doing anything right.
Yeah, it had to be perfect.
Yeah.
And I felt sad a little bit, just a little, again, sad.
Yeah.
And that part, it's like, why, I want to know, like, why is it coming out to people in my life, especially at work
Yeah.
and judging and, granted, granted, there are people there that choose not to, I guess, understand English, and some really can't understand English, but
So does it make sense that this part has that feeling of of wanting you and your system to be perfect? Like that's important to it.
what's not making sense, I guess, to me is my wanting, I'm putting that on to others
Right.
too, that it's not clean
Right.
enough. They're slobs. It's like you're a housekeeper.
Right.
It's
I understand that this part is judging the part that is judging others. And so what I'm asking is, does that judge, the one that's judging the judge, does it make sense that it has that feeling of like we're supposed to be perfect?
from what I learned growing up. Yeah,
Yeah. So can you just show it that makes sense to you? And maybe ask what it's worried about. What it's afraid would happen if you weren't, or if it didn't work so hard.
just losing control came into my mind. That loss of control.
Yeah, so it wants to keep that from happening.
And then when I think about it, why does that part really care so much what everything looks like when it's not my house? It's not my, they have people have their own bosses. And yeah, it's like, I don't know why it feels it needs to
You're
say
talking about
something again.
the
The part,
you're talking
just
about the part that judges others.
yeah, that it
Yeah.
because it, like thinking I won't have that control, lose that control.
Okay.
If I'm not, I don't know, looking at what others do.
Okay. Well, I think I lost the thread a little bit because I was thinking that we were talking to the one who judges the judge.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, and I know this is this is tricky with the language. So there's the judge of others part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the judge of the judge. There's the part in you that's doesn't want that judge of others, that's putting down that judge of others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you asked it to step back so that you could get to know the judge of others, it didn't respond. And that's when I suggested, well, let's get to know the judge of the judge. And so I was curious about the fears that judge of the judge might have. And it sounded, I thought that it was saying like, it has this concern, this fear of not being good enough, or this, this voice of your mother. And so it's it's looking at this judge of others part and saying, we can't have that.
And it has to be perfect.
Right.
You have to do what you're told.
Right.
And you're not listening.
Yeah.
And if you don't listen, you should get punished or in trouble.
Yes. And so that's what it wants to protect you from, right?
See, that's where the part protect me from
being punished, from being in trouble.
but yet it's them that would be in trouble because they're not doing what they. So I think I'm a little confused.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe we can leave it at this. Well, I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Are there parts in you that still hear your mother's voice and still carry that fear of getting in trouble for not doing what they're told or what's right?
Well, my mom's voice came up when we were talking about it, so apparently
Yeah.
it is there.
Right. Right. And so that's a part that you could get to know and you could understand, you could learn, where that comes from, how long it's been doing that. And we could go to the parts it's protecting and we could unburden them. But yeah, that's where I would suggest, or that's where I thought we were focusing. I know we got kind of off track, but yeah.
Yeah, my mom had a way of doing things, and if we didn't do it right, sometimes we had to do it over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
what was that like? What was that like for you?
just feeling like I couldn't do it right.
Yeah.
Oh, there was just maybe a little spot on the dish, and gosh forbid we had to do it over. And I'm wondering, why can't she be satisfied?
Yeah.
Just feeling, yeah, like we just didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Had to be perfect.
Yeah. And like, how long do you think you've been carrying that kind of message or that voice of your mother around doing it right?
I was thinking when we started to do chores, but I can't, different things around the house.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, maybe, I just had the thought of not behaving
Mm-hmm.
right when when I did break my arm and all that stuff. Just,
Yeah. So it sounds like there are still parts in you that are carrying a lot of that weight, a lot of that burden, a lot of those beliefs about themselves that maybe they aren't good enough, that they might still be facing punishment from your mother or from someone else. Is that right?
yeah. And how come sometimes then we put it on to others when we see others doing it? Is that,
Yeah. I think that's just, I mean, you can find out by going to those parts, but it's super common, right? Like we have this pain, we have this something that's enforced on us, and then rather, and then we internalize it. We internalize the messages, the parts internalize messages. We start telling these things to ourselves in order to preempt or prevent the pain that will come externally. And then, those parts get kind of stuck there. And that's what they do best. They judge, they do whatever. And it ends up pointing outward. When we see it in other people, for example, if you have this part that's this judge and it's saying you have to do it right or else trouble, and then you see in other people not doing it right, well, that seems like a natural reaction. Having that same part saying, being that concerned, no, they have to do it right or else it's trouble, right?
yeah.
And it comes from those beliefs that they've internalized and those experiences that they've had, your parts, all in service of protecting you.
And that part doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't want to do that anymore.
Right. Yeah. You can help it out.
Cause yeah, it again, it takes away the moment, the good in the day, and it does. So many of these things take so much of your energy.
Yeah. So what do you think about bookmarking that as a part that maybe we can focus on next time we talk? And if you change your mind, that's fine.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll be the same as working with any part. You know, you go to them, you listen to them, you understand their pain, and you lead them. You build trust with them. And then maybe they won't feel, again, kind of so compelled to I'll use the word act out, but I mean act out in the world versus kind of communicating with you and going to you for what they need.
Mm-hmm. No, that sounds good.
Okay. Thanks for your patience with me today.
Oh yeah, I feel like I kind of got you a little confused, and then I got confused.
Sure.
And it's such a new, it's still a lot of learning and unlearning.
And I'm confused all the time, by the way, on this end of things. Not with you, like
You are?
with all kinds of people. I mean, I'm always, you're in your system. I can't see in there, and so yeah, it's.
I think you do a good job.
Well, thank you, but it's okay if I'm confused. So, but yeah, it happens all the time, and it's fine. And again, all the magic happens between you and your parts. So, I'm just glad to be able to be along for the ride.
Well, thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm jealous still. I have a part of me that's jealous.
Yeah, well, I'm jealous of yours too. It sounds like you have a really sweet support group or family.
Yeah, I do. Nice. I do. But hopefully the weather will be good for you and you'll have a great time.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will talk to you next week.
Okay. See you next week.
All right. Thank you, James. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.